Well, the reputation of Queensland's justice system has been bolstered by the findings of the first case of DNA innocence testing. In the US, the retesting of DNA evidence, where it can conclusively prove a prisoner's innocence, has led to the exoneration of 255 inmates, some from death row. Last year, the State Attorney-General agreed for DNA evidence in a 1990 Gold Coast murder to be re-examined. Shane Sebastian Davis was convicted of murdering a 19-year-old South African woman, but for nearly 2 decades has proclaimed his innocence. His case was championed by esteemed legal figures, including a former High Court judge, who believed that DNA technology was in its infancy at the time and that there was enough doubt in the case for the evidence to be re-examined. The results have been released and they found Davis's blood was 45 billion times more likely to be linked to the crime scene. To explore this case, earlier I spoke to Queensland's Attorney-General Cameron Dick.
The results of the test indicate that the DNA that was taken is 45 billion times more likely to be Mr Davis's DNA than the DNA of any other random Caucasian male taken from the Australian community. So the testing of DNA is much higher quality than it once was. Historically, that's been the problem in this case, that in the early days of DNA the accuracy wasn't as good as it is today. It's far more accurate and the tests indicate to a very high degree of accuracy that there is a match between the material that was retested and Mr Davis's DNA.
Looking back, why was it necessary to re-examine Shane Davis's DNA?
It's important that the Queensland community has confidence in Queensland's justice system. The justice system is always subject to analysis and review, sometimes critical analysis and review. We want to ensure that we've got a justice system in Queensland that is open, transparent and fair. And that's why it was important that we took this step, that the government took the step in this case, to retest to Mr Davis's DNA.
What then do these findings say about Queensland's justice system?
Look, I think what it indicates is that we do want to be open, we do want to be transparent, we want to have accountability in how our justice system works. As I've said previously, I think Queenslanders are well served by our criminal justice system. There are mechanisms for people to challenge a conviction in court, to appeal those convictions, to challenge what they say might be an error or a wrong that's been perpetrated against them. There are appellate mechanisms in courts to do that. This is another way, as science expands, for us to ensure there's a robustness and integrity in our criminal justice system, and this testing indicates that we're open to that, that we're open to retesting things if it's appropriate in the circumstances.
The Innocence Project, which advocates for DNA innocence testing to be introduced into the justice system, we're hoping to use this as a test case for broader systemic change in this state. Where does that push stand now?
The government has indicated, and we've said publicly, that we are going to develop guidelines to enable DNA to be retested in the future. I'm working on finalising those. It is, of course, an important thing to get right. We've taken some time to consider what those guidelines should be. I'm pleased to be able to say that we are close to releasing those guidelines publicly, and that will happen in the next few weeks.
Why did it take so long?
Look, it was really, I suppose, the advocacy of the Griffith University Innocence Project on behalf of Mr Davis. It was their advocacy and their representations to government that narrowed the field in a certain extent to the Davis case. They had worked through hundreds of cases, as I understand it, to find a case where it would be appropriate to retest DNA. That's what they've done in this case. They brought the Davis case to the attention of the government. We were able to ascertain that there was still DNA material in existence that had been subject to testing at the time of trial, that there was still integrity about those samples. We listened to those representations and we tested them, and it's important that, as I say, we've got integrity in the system, and that's why we've gone down the path of retesting.
Do you think resources have been wasted on this?
No, I don't. I think ensuring that the community has confidence in our justice system is very important indeed, and for the small amount of time and the money that's been taken to retest this DNA, I think it's been an important thing to ensure the community in Queensland can have confidence in our criminal justice system.